Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. We're excited to have Amy Jean Davis in the house. She's the founder of LA Animal Saves, and she's really shedding light on animal rights and activism, and really by creating incredible rituals around that. So will you share a little bit about what you and your cause does for the LA community?
Absolutely. So LA Animal Save is a part of a global network under the Save movement, and there's over 600 groups. And what we do is we find places of cruelty, and we go down there. A lot of times they are slaughterhouses, and we actually stop the trucks that have all the animals for a couple minutes before they go inside. And what we do is we bear witness. And what does that mean? It means when we know that there's suffering happening, we don't turn away. We actually come as close as we can, and we do something to try to help. So in these instances, like with pigs, we can actually give them water. They're very, very desperately thirsty. If anybody looks up transport with animal agriculture, they'll see these animals don't get any food or water. If they see videos from our vigils, they'll see these pigs are just, doing everything they can to get out of the holes in the side of the truck to get to the water. And we're down there. There's over 100 of us every Sunday night in the slaughterhouse. At the slaughterhouse, it's just near downtown LA, which a lot of people don't even know about. And we've got backpack sprayers on. We've got hand pump sprayers. We've got water bottles. And we actually work with the local police department, and they make sure that we are protected and that we have a right to what they call demonstrate, which we call bearing witness and holding vigil. And so we're raising awareness that these animals are no different from our dogs and cats. And we're raising awareness to the locations of the slaughterhouses because these places like to sort of exist and hope that nobody really knows what it is. And we're raising awareness about how animal agriculture affects so many different global crises that are going on today, including climate change, including world hunger, including worker oppression. It's really something that needs to go away. We need to evolve into eating plant-based foods, and the plant-based food industry needs to explode like it's doing now. We need to evolve away from these kinds of violent, inefficient ways of getting food to people.
Wow. When did your love or awareness of love for animals start?
Well, what little kid doesn't love animals, right? I mean, we all grow up loving animals. All of our books are on animals. Our stuffed animals are, all the species. We don't actually make a divide between, okay, we're going to teach our kids to love dogs and cats and lions and tigers, and we won't write any stories about pigs, chickens, and turkeys, right? No, all the stories are, Old MacDonald had a farm, and so we're raised to see these animals in our stories and love them, but then also we're fed their bodies. It just doesn't make any sense at all. So it started when I was a little kid, just like everyone else. We're all born with this natural sense of compassion, and we love animals. And when it comes to the animals, they are no different in their capacity to suffer.
So what can people do? Well, I mean, because, going down, and I get it, like witnessing and from a spiritual perspective is very important. I would imagine that just having that grace at whatever level. But what can people do? Obviously, some people can be vegetarian, some people struggle with it. But what can people do to help more in the movement?
Well, they can certainly come to a vigil. It's impactful. It's an experience that you will not regret. A lot of people think, well, why would I do that to myself? Well, it's not about you. It's about the animals. And it's about everything that animal agriculture touches in a negative way, which is basically everything. So come to a vigil, see these animals, be inspired. You never know what's going to happen to you until you're standing in front of an animal that you can't save. Although sometimes we get to save. We've saved a few chickens from the chicken slaughterhouse. But
And there's also a really powerful movement happening here in LA and across the globe. Meatless Mondays is huge. So even if it's something you can't incorporate into your everyday life, even just honoring that on one day a week makes a huge impact.
Anything that people do to stop eating animals, whether it's small or big, is going to help in some way. Ideally, everybody would just ditch all the animal products, just like, a lot of people will say, well, it's really hard. I don't know what to eat. I go to a party. What am I going to eat? Well, let me ask you this. If you guys went to a party and the only thing available there were some tacos made out of golden retrievers, would you eat it? Probably not, right? So we have to think about this. If we want real change, we have to question our culture, because our culture tells us what we love, what we don't love, who we eat and who we don't eat, but it's not based in truth. It's just our culture. And we're not going to change unless we're willing to question our culture. So we think pigs, dogs, what would be the difference? People aren't going to go home and eat their dogs, so why would they eat a pig?
Yeah. important to get educated for sure. You know, my father is a naturopath, and he says that all the hormones are based off cholesterol, and so it's like I feel like it's a natural thing to have, like, say you had an animal and you milk them and make it into butter and use that cholesterol from some of the dairy products per se, but not necessarily eat the animal. But I feel like everyone has their own free will, and it's like hard to like go, how do we, you know, where do we put the laws or not the laws? Everyone has free will, but it's a real, I think education and awareness is for sure the number one thing for everyone, for them to make their own choice and make their own conscious decisions.
Sure. So what we believe in the SAVE movement is that there are personal choices, but not things that result in a victim. Those aren't personal choices. That's just violence.
Yeah, I get it.
But speaking of cholesterol, our liver actually makes all the cholesterol that we need. We make it in our bodies. So humans, as anatomical herbivores, have zero need for dietary cholesterol. In fact, dietary cholesterol is one of the biggest risk factors for causing heart disease, stroke, and for the men, erectile dysfunction, which are diseases that don't ever have to happen. They happen because of the foods we're deciding to eat.
Well, thank you for all the awareness and light you're bringing to this. Could you tell everyone where they could find
Sure.
you and get more information, how
Yeah.
they can get involved?
So you can go to laanimalsave.org to find information on the vigils we hold here in LA. We welcome everyone to come down. And you can find us on social media looking up LA Animal Save.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll
So
be back with
important.
more in Good Morning La La Land.